You said in year 3 that you want to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Are you guys there yet?
Not there yet. We've got a ton of youth right now, and I'm so excited about this football season. And I can't tell you one way of how many wins, how many losses, what have not, but I can tell you this, is that we've got young guys that are talented in the program. We need to add a few more, but it's going to be extremely fun for the first time. It's going to be fun to actually develop and mold these guys to the way that we want them to get back to our standards and expectations.
Talk about your coaching staff, really senior coaching staff. What does that bring to the table?
Well, half of them either coached me or I coached with or I mentored. And we always thought it was really important that we had a group that saw things the same way. We have our differences at times, but those are good. And the cool thing about this being my first job is I have numerous head coaches on my staff that really guide us in our program in the right direction. So I'm very fortunate to be around that type of people. They're really good teachers and even better people.
Talk about the recruiting in the 4-hour radius that you always talk about.
Really important. And if you look at the 20 and 21 classes, we follow the model to a T. I think the 20 class was 75% in the 4-hour radius, and I want to say the 21 was 79%. We're going to continue that. We've got a new item up for business with the transfer portal that we have to deal with. But our philosophy is still going to be we're going to try to take high school kids in the 4-hour radius, the ones that the transfers that fit our program and our need and are the right people, we'll dibble and dabble into that. But we got to still make sure that we've got a really good locker room and a great foundation.
Touch on the portal a little bit. You're dealing with it. How is that going? Is it always a learning experience?
Well, I think the commissioner said it best. They got to figure it out, and they got to figure it out fast. What's going on with the transfer portal, there's more kids in the transfer portal, and they can't get out because of the 25 hard cap rule. And they got to figure these rules out. I don't think it's benefiting any program. I don't think it's benefiting the kid. The majority of them. We always hear about the Joey Burrows and those type of players, but in all actuality, if you look at the numbers and you look at where these kids are truly transferring to, the majority of it isn't Division I right now. And they got to figure it out, and I hope they do soon. I hope they can find a way that it's not going to hurt high school recruiting, because right now it is. This 22 class, if you think about it, I've got 25 counters. And I'm going to sign 18, 17 high school kids, but there's an 7 or 8 kids that I would normally take as a high school kid, and I'm going to take as an older player. So they got to find a way to not hurt high school football, and they got to find a way for these kids in the transfer portal to be able to move. So I think the commissioner couldn't have said it any better.
Offense, touch on the offense a little bit.
Yeah, young, as we know. The COVID year is painful and as miserable as it was for the country, our state, our community, our football program. It couldn't have came at a worse time. You're in year 2 trying to change culture, and all of a sudden you're doing it over Zoom meetings. That wasn't fun. But we're going to look back. We're going to look back at the COVID year and be very, very thankful for at least it occurring for our football team, because it was no harm, no foul. We played as many guys as we could play. Played a bunch of young guys. They got to learn real quick that they're not big enough, they're not strong enough, they're not fast enough, and it cost us nothing. So it's the quarterback took a beating. We didn't protect him well. We didn't run good routes. He didn't play as well as we hoped. He was hurt. I think you'll see a big change in that room. I think you're going to see a big change, period. It's just the consistency as I worry about. When you're young, you're inconsistent. You win sometimes. You don't win all the time. So as these guys get older, we'll start winning all the time.
How do you just simply motivate the kids to stay focused?
Yeah, they are. And I said this to our unit. You can feel, it smells better, it tastes better. When you walk into the building, there's an enthusiasm and there's a love for Bowling Green. There's a love for each other. The issue is that the young guys, they're putting the work in, but they don't understand the elite work that you have to put in to be really good. Because most of the time you're a freshman or a sophomore and you're watching 25 real dudes that have been a part of it, that have the war, the scars, and right now we don't have anyone that has scars. And what's going to happen is these guys are going to have to learn on the run. It's a coach-driven team right now, which whenever you have a coach-driven team, you're not ready. It's got to be a player-driven team, and with age, it'll become a player-driven team.